Hi, this is Ajit, and here I'm going to make a second video from the same series. So, in this particular lecture, in this particular, basically, it is a practical all about, how to take the backup of the storage, right? What are the important component that we need to take into a backup, right? So, okay, so just give me a second. Yeah, all right. So, okay. So let me just tell you the number of machines that I have. So I have my storage SUSE enterprise storage running in my environment, in this demo environment. I have my SMT, which is basically a repository server, right? It contains the package, right, along with some infra services running like NTP, DSCP, uh, DNS kind of, right? We have here we have a 3 monitor node. So monitor basically, contain the cluster map of the storage, right? Yes, it does not keep any user data, but it contain the information, the status of the cluster, how many OSDs are there, number of PGs, status about the monitors basically, right? The rules basically, CRIS distribution rules kind of things are there. Monitor also perform authentication. So when user has to access a data from the data server, of course, these machines, client need to come first to the monitor machine, monitor authenticate them, then give them if if the authentication goes successful, then client receive cluster map, right? So map is more like a kind of graph which contain the location of the OSD and everything. So yeah, once the client receive this cluster map, then they can go to directly to the particular OSDs, right, and access the information. So yes, for the first time, a client need to connect to monitor in order to receive map. Once the map is received, the client don't need to come to monitor, right? Just connect with OSD directly and receive, do some read and write operation on that, right? Uh, this is the data node, right? So each of these node have, if I go here and see, we have a first disk as a OS disk, and REST3 disk are additional disk, right? Each of this, in my case, is 20 GB. You can see here, right? Let me see whether my screen is shared. Yeah, it is shared. So okay, so each of these disk is 20 GB, right? So we have a 3 disk in each data node. So currently I'm running a 3 data node, which means 9 additional OSDs. So all these 9 OSDs are considered to store information, right? And why do we have a 3? Yes, of course. You may ask that why not just one disk with the higher size? Actually, CEPH is a distributed architecture. So the more number of disk means the more number of redundancy, right? So yeah, in my case, I'm using 3, but in the production, you can see a n number of disk attached into your data node, right? So the first disk is the OS disk, and the rest 3 is for the additional disk to store information. And all of these disks are running OSD daemon. So OSD basically, it's object store, right? OSD daemon, yeah, object store daemon. And we have a admin node. So admin is basically used to deploy this, set up this environment. So it play like a kind of deployment server for making your storage running, right? uh, Along with that, uh, it is also working, acting as a salt master, right? So salt service is running. DeepC is also there. So DeepC is basically a framework which help this admin machine to set up this storage for you. So DeepC framework basically leverage the salt in order to set up this storage, right? So yeah, so this is just the formal information about the machine. So my objective is basically the backup, right? So let's come down here. I have taken SSH of one of my machine, which is the admin one, right? So because it is easy for me to do some operation there instead of going into the virtual machine. I feel much comfortable inside this SSH platform. So to see the status of the cluster CEPH-S, I can see the state of my cluster is okay, and I'm running monitor, manager, MDS, OSDs, and Rados gateway at present. You may have a different view in the production. Maybe they are running many different gateways, right? Basically, gateway means it's a kind of client service. So see, client cannot access data directly into the storage. Client need a one gateway or a service, intermediate service, which will further communicate to librados in order to store information, right? So we need a one kind of intermediate service. So RGW is basically a Rados gateway which can help you to set up your Swift, or maybe your Swift is one of them used in uh, OpenStack. S3 is there for in AWS, right? So yes, you can integrate these clients, these client application with Rados, so that you can store your object into SUSE Enterprise Storage. So here I'm running one of the gateway, but RGW is one of them. SESv6 is the second one. RBD is one of the gateway, Rados block device, basically RBD, right? So SUSE Enterprise Storage is one of the solution for storing either object or a file, as well as a block files. Yeah. So each of these type of data may definitely require a different interface. So RGW is one of the interface to store object. Uh, RBD is one of the interface to store block information, block device, images, basically. Technically, we called images here. So anyways, so this is what the status of my current running storage, and we have to plan some backup for future, if in case if something bad happen in the future, then how we can restore it. So first and foremost, you need a location where you need to store this backup. So it could be a third location, of course, not within the cluster, but you may have some place shared storage where you can keep this. So in my case, again, it is a demo. So I have one separate machine. You can see SMT. So I'm going to take this machine as my backup storage one, right? So let's go first to the SMT machine dot example dot net, and then making a folder like SRV backups and admin and client, comma. So yes, I have these two folder, correct. So in my case, I have this location ready. Let's take the backup of my my admin machine. So see, admin machine have a lot more responsibility. I mean, admin machine play a very important role, because admin machine is rolled. The role of the admin machine is as a salt master. The role of the admin machine is also deep sea. I mean, if you want to see all the roles, so you can go to SRV pillar. Then you have CEPH proposal, yeah, and policy.cfg. So you can see my admin machine has a role of master. Master role is running, right? Admin role is running, right? All the administrative job. If you come little down, you can see my admin machine is also running with Prometheus. Grafana is also running, right? So there are a couple of important services running on the admin machine. And admin machine is one of the machine where your credentials, I mean key of the different components are here, right? So a CEPH auth ls, and you can see it is also running salt hyphen. Yeah, you are running a salt, this one, salt master. So ultimately, to take the backup, you can write C tar is one of the tools to combine multiple files into one. So CZF, and wanted to take a backup of SRV, because this is a root location for the salt master, and SRV pillar, so that contain information about we have a recipes, ready-made recipes stored in this location, right? So, and the next is etc salt, because this particular salt folder contains the configuration file and all related to salt. etc sorry etc and ceph. So etc ceph folder basically contain the configuration file of the ceph, right? So ceph.conf file is there inside it. So 1 2 3 4, and yes, you can also capture your root directory, the current directory, right? And where to pick or store this, so smt.example.net, and then I'm going to capture this. mm, okay, so SRV backups admin dot admin, sorry, admin is a folder, admin dot z, enter. So password. So let's check this out. SRV, yeah. So I can see this file is here. So yes, we have successfully taken admin backup, the machine, admin machines backup, right? So if in case something bad happened, then we still have a chance to restore these files, right? Second important component would be your MDS, right? So MDS basically a metadata service used by SESv6 only. Yes, only SESv6 uses metadata service, and currently it is running on your monitor one, right? So we need to take the backup of this service, MDS service, and in the production we never like to run this MDS service on the monitor node. There should be one separate or more than one separate server for running this particular metadata service. And here we have a limited resource in this training, in this demo environment. So I'm running along with the monitor, but in a production, we always have one separate dedicated machine for running this in term of performance and all, right? So okay, so let's go to monitor one and take run the command tar czf, and then you have to take etcceph. So again, the same concern, like this file, this location contain the configuration file of SESv6 and var lib and ceph. So here you can find it is a database location of the monitor, right? And where to keep it, I have to keep this to my smt.example.net and SRV backups and admin slash mds.tzz. So cool. Uh, yes, let's cross check it. Yes, I have. So I have taken my uh, admin machine backup is done, MDS is done. What next? So your next backup could be your monitor one, right? So yes, I can also see the gateways here. So yes, it gateway will also be a must be a part of your backup process. So let's take the backup of this RGW, right? So again, the same, if I go to my okay, so we have to go to monitor 3 because it is running on the monitor 3 only, and you can see we have there isn't something which is so you can see these gateway information are mentioned in this configuration file. So this file will also must be a part of your backup. So let's take the backup and CZF and etc ceph is one of the folder and where lib ceph is the second one, and where to store this smt.example.net, and then is srv backups and client, and then rgw pzz. Yeah, so it has been taken. So so yes, we have taken the backup of this machine, this service as well. Right, so RGW is done, MDS is done, as well as yeah, admin machines backup is done, admin is done. Uh, there are three backup, MDS, yeah, so MDS, admin, and RGW is done. Now next is your okay, so monitor backup we have left it. So we also need to take the backup of monitor machine as well, right? So let's take the backup of monitor as well. So monitor 1, and then star space CZF etc chef, and so yes, it is done. Yeah, it is done. So let's back to my machine, ceph-f. So I have taken a backup of monitor, and generally, monitor machines. I can see there are three machines, and all these three machines. Why we are using three? Because of some, quorum cluster. You know that, right? So, and all these machines, servers basically contain the same information. So you don't need to go for, second and third should be a part of backup. No, you can just target one of the monitor node and take the backup, because rest of the monitor have the same information. So you don't need to go to each of these node to take a backup, right? Just target one of them. Second is a manager service. So manager service is running on the monitor machine, right? So of course manager service basically contain the modules, right? So there are several modules which are a part of this manager. Prometheus is there, Grafana is there, dashboard is there, right? So there are several, IO state is there, and you can see these manager service. If you go to the graphical box, you can see somewhere, let me admin and my so if I'm not wrong, then okay. So here you can find manager modules, yes, and you can see these are the services. So deep sea is one of the service, dashboard is there, crash balancer, ansible, IO state. So these are the service which are which are inside of your manager module. So you can enable, disable whenever you want. So because of I have taken a backup of monitor one, right? And monitor one is also running manager one, so you don't need to additionally take the backup of manager. You can see if I go to my manager machine, and if you remember, you have taken a backup of this location, right? CEPH, correct? And inside this you have this manager folder, and manager folder basically generally manager, not really generally, it always manager service is available in all three monitor node. But the behavior of monitor manager is like it would be active in one of the node, but passive in other two node. I mean, currently it, or you can always find a single instance of manager running in one of the node. So you can see here it is currently running on monitor one, while however monitor 2 and 3 have this services as in standby mode. So once you take the monitor machines backup, the manager is already a part of it, right? So you don't need to additionally take it. MDS, yes, I have taken it, the backup of MDS. OSDs are basically, see, you cannot take the backup of OSD because OSD itself has clustering enabled. So you don't need to take the backup of OSDs because OSD itself is designed for the backup and all, for data redundancy and everything, right? So you don't need to take the backup of it. OSD is itself a backup. So once you add a new disk into your storage cluster, right, it will add one more layer of redundancy. So it should not be a part of backup because it contains the redundancy and all everything, because we have a resilience policies like replication and eraser coding, right? So which will take care of those disasters. Don't need to worry about it. But yes, for RGW, I have taken it. RGW, yeah. So this is a RADOS gateway, and you can have more than one RADOS gateway, right? And if you have more than one RADOS gateway, then definitely all the RADOS gateway will have a same configuration file, that is for sure. But you may also need to set up a load balancer so that you can manage a request across multiple RADOS gateways. And I have taken a backup of this RGW, because all, if you have more than one instance, definitely all the instance will have a same configuration file. So I have taken a backup of this RGW. So yes, so in this session we have just learned about what important component that we need to consider while taking the backup. I hope this session would be little helpful, right? Because yeah, this is a small information about the backup and all. In the next video, probably I will go for little more detail about adding OSDs, removing OSDs, what happen if your monitor is down, or maybe server is down, or maybe OSD is down, how you can recover it, etc., etc. So thank you very much for watching this video, right? Thank you.